Welcome back to all our friends, family, and yes, even our foes. To the Fox 10 Sports Podcast, where Todd and his sports-passionate kids are ready to bring you the latest updates and insights on all things sports. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Now, here are your hosts, Kellen, Garrett, Gannon, and coming to you from the Fox 10, their dad, Todd Fox.
Boomer Sooner, and welcome back on this Black Monday for the Fox 10 Sports Podcast. Black Monday because neither of my teams could score a touchdown this weekend between the Oklahoma Sooners and Texas, as well as Dallas Cowboys got driven in the NFL by the Detroit Lions. Got a lot to go over today. We're going to go over some comments here in just a second. Garrett's going to go over those. Obviously, talk about the OU-Texas game. We want to talk about, like, where do we go from here, and upcoming South Carolina game thoughts as well. And, of course, our favorite question of the week at the end. So, Garrett, what kind of comments do you have from our wonderful listeners this week?
Well, we had several, but majority of them were saying the exact same thing, pretty much calling us clowns, saying that Oklahoma was better than Texas and a lot of other things. But I don't think they really listened to anything we said, because not once did any of us say that Oklahoma was better than Texas. Yeah, we all predicted them to win. We all definitely said that we had a long way to get there and a lot of things that needed to go our way in order to win that game. We also recognized that they pretty much had our number on every position on the field, but we still noted that because of the rivalry, that doesn't matter. And so that's what gave us, and like Kellen said last week and during the week, like, we're never going to pick Texas to win. I don't care who it is. Like, just because, I mean, my lifetime, it's been a pretty dominant fashion with Oklahoma, so why should I expect that to change? But anyways, for the people that, for whatever reason, thought us predicting Oklahoma to win meant they were better, well, you guys are the clowns. But this one specifically, he says, drinking the OU, this isn't a question, it's more of just kind of a conversation we'll go over, but drinking the OU Kool-Aid, haha, OU is the better program. I swear the people say Texas has arrogance. You guys need to share what you're smoking. So essentially saying Texas, obviously, he thinks Texas is the better program. I don't know if you guys saw the graphic they put up on Saturday, but Texas has like 8 more wins total in the total program history. Oklahoma, I think, has 5 more national champions, like 30 to 40 more conference champions, 5 more Heismans, I think. So I'll just kind of start off with that, I guess, and see what you guys feel about that, because head-to-head, again, you got us, but, I mean, that graphic goes a pretty long way whenever you look at it across the country.
Go for it, Gil.
I mean, yes, you could say head-to-head. We've been playing since, like, 1900 or something like that. Like, but in the last, what is it, are we 34 and whatever in the last however many matchups? Like, so over the last 60, 70
World War
years.
II or something.
Yeah, it's very even. But, yeah, like when it comes to the stuff that matters, national championships, Heisman Trophy winners, how many starting quarterbacks did Oklahoma or did Texas have in the NFL yesterday? I believe Oklahoma had 5. Well, 2 of them kind of, but still. Yeah, when it comes to actual stats that matter, like in the grand scheme of things, in college football, we're the better program. Okay, maybe in the rivalry you have a few more wins, but in college football, we're the better program. Even in recent years, we've been more dominant. The times that they beat us, we are down bad with injuries on offense. Like it's just different. Not once did I say we were a better team than Texas this year. I just said this is a rivalry. It brings out the best in both teams. Anything can happen. And on this podcast, I will never predict OU to lose. I don't care who we're playing. I don't care how bad we are. I'm always going to predict us to win. But, yeah, when it comes to program, it's Oklahoma all the way.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, like, going forward, I'm not going to just pick OU to win just because I'm going to have to be honest. Going into that game, I did pick Oklahoma to win, but, I mean, we all knew it was going to be tough. What we gave is what we thought had to happen in for us to win. And if we did, we thought we had a pretty good chance. I feel like whenever we do play these guys, that whenever they're the lower ranked team, they usually play a lot better up to our competition and not necessarily us. We do the same thing. And obviously that show this past weekend, we have still won 7 of the past 10 games, and they've won 2 out of the last 3. So it just tells you right there for the last 10 years that we are more dominant against the Longhorns. And granted, some of those games came down the wire. I get all that, but we're still very relevant. And, yeah, they've got the overall matchup on us. Not many teams can say that against the Sooners, but they do, is what it is. And I get it. But the thing is, they're a good program. They finally got a good coach in Sarkisian. But I also do think that we're definitely right there with them. And we just, regardless of what happens, it's hard whenever you lose 5 receivers. If that same thing happened to Texas, what would they be like? 2 years ago when they smoked us, we didn't have our starting quarterback. And I'm not going to sit there and say we would have won, but we would have been closer than 49-0 is what it is. But we are definitely I've just seen some of these groups that are, we don't belong in the SEC and all that. Look, it's going to be a rough year. We kind of have said that for the last couple of weeks. We knew it was going to be a little bit rougher. Didn't realize how rough it was going to be because none of us expected to have the 5 top receivers out. But, am I drinking the Kool-Aid? Yeah, I drink it every year, generally. But I'm going to have to be a little bit more realistic in my honest opinions without getting smoked by people going forward. But, yeah, I still think we're the better program. They're good. They're very good. They're very talented. But how long will that last? I don't know. It's Texas, so we'll see. Did you have anything to say about it, Garrett? What your thoughts were?
I think it's pretty much what y'all said. I don't think there's any question when you look at, again, the statistics of the stuff I just mentioned that you can argue in any form that Texas is better. So, yeah, it's funny because they always argue. I had the thought while you guys are talking, but
well, they're always arguing. That's just who they are. They can't.
Yeah.
We live rent free in their head. All that
yes,
stuff.
We
with
do.
Baker, planting the flag in them. We didn't even do that to him. Baker didn't plant the flag on them.
No.
And he still lives rent free in their head, and he loved it. He thinks it's hilarious.
Right.
He has more Big 12 championships than they do. That's insane.
True, and it's fine. Let them do what they want. They won. They were the better team on Saturday. Hats off to them. Great
and
job,
also too, you saying that reminded me of something like and all the Texas fans are making fun of him, thinking he's got beef with college players, and it's like Texas fans are just jealous because they have no player in the NFL that's honestly very top tier and in any matter, and they have no player in recent memory that has any sort of impact in NFL or college and on their team as Baker Mayfield. So they've been a pretty sorry program up until the last 2 to 3 years. And I think, and I saw again a bunch of people in the comments of the planting the flag, they beat Oklahoma twice or whatever in the last decade or something like that, and they forget how to act. It's it's like it's not like it was an upset. They're acting like they just upset us. It's like you guys were very, very big favorites. So,
no, I totally agree. Let's get to the game. Let's talk about the game real quick. Unless do you have more comments, or was that it?
No, like I said, we had a lot, but it was all about the same.
Yeah, it was all about the same. So let's talk about the game. So we were saying it offline. What's funny is we didn't text one time during that game, not once. No text, no calls, no. It was just kind of like, hey, it is what it is, and we're all in different states watching this football game. Walk us through it. Whichever one of you guys want to go first, walk us through. At the beginning, I know we scored first and all that, but then it kind of went down from there. So, what do you think?
I'll just say, as the game as a whole, I honestly wasn't even mad or annoyed or anything like that. It was just one of those games that you watch and there's not a single player, there's not a single play, there was nothing like that you could like sit there and pinpoint and be mad at. Like it was just a bad game, like start to finish essentially. And that being said, that first quarter though, I mean, you get the interception on Quinn Ewers, and he looked like a bum that first quarter, to be honest.
Didn't he?
But
He did.
It
Yes.
wasn't even the defense half the time. It was just him missing throws.
Oh, I know. We didn't. Yeah, it wasn't anything we did necessarily on the first several drives, but
He looked nervous to me at the beginning.
We get the pit. I mean, we had 3 possessions in the first quarter that started on their side of the field, and we get 3 points out of it. Like, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're freaking UMass playing Mizzou or whoever. Like, you have got to capitalize on that. And at the beginning of the year, that was all they could talk about, was how many points we had off of turnovers. And that was with a different quarterback. But I think, I don't care who you're playing, I don't care who you are. Like, whenever you get the ball that close, you have to capitalize on it. Because I think if we would have scored just one of those, it would have changed the game completely. Would we have won? No, I'm going to be honest, no. But it would have changed it completely. And then, I mean, yeah, there's a lot to be said about the rest of the game, but it was pretty much downhill, just like you said. Like, no pass rush, no eagerness on offense to get anything done. It was, yeah.
Pretty pathetic. Kellen?
I mean, it's basically the same thing. It's the same thing we've been saying all year, just on steroids. Like, the defense, they played fine in the first quarter. Like I said, Quinn was missing some throws, but like we were stopping him, holding him to like 17, 18 yards or something like that.
They didn't get a first down until beginning of second, roughly.
The fact that we only put up 3 points is pathetic. And then it's just like after that, like we didn't really give up, that I recall, like big plays. It was just chipping away. Like the defense getting tired, and also like you could just see, like at some point I've been waiting all season for it to happen. They're losing steam. Like, how many opportunities do they have to give this offense? Like, it's just sad. I don't know. But then again, like with the injuries on our offense, like I don't know what quarterback really could have done a whole lot. Like I don't know if Baker Mayfield would have put up much more points with the offense that we had starting.
True.
Like it's rough when you're missing 5 receivers and some line. Like it sucks.
Right.
I'd like to see what it would have looked like being a fully healthy game, but
right.
That's just how it goes sometimes.
No, I agree. Like whenever he threw the interception and Bowman got it, obviously we can't, pick up and run with it because he'd already fallen down. But I thought, okay, if we could, if we can get 7 out of this, we missed a field goal on that one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
we missed
45 or something.
Yeah, you got to make those kicks, number one. But again, he didn't look that great at the beginning. I thought he looked a little skittish, and he hadn't been playing, and I get all that. There's all that kind of stuff, and he got more comfortable. I totally understand all that. But here's my thoughts. Like our offensive problems, I could sit there and say, hey, the reason why we lost because we didn't have our receivers, offensive line, garbage, all that. I get all that. The receivers, okay, that's not really our fault. The offensive line is our fault. We should be better at supplying a bunch of offensive linemen that can actually do a better job of blocking than these guys do. Play calling, I know so many people are calling for Luttrell's head, and again, I can't argue the fact, but I can just say, and I wasn't at the game, so it's hard to see but I heard, from different people and then through the radio and stuff that there were some times where the receivers were open, but that same majority of the time, the ones that we had could not get open. And Hawkins goes back and he looks at, basically kind of stares down one receiver, and if that guy's covered, he starts taking off running. So that's the issue I think I have. I just sling the ball downfield. Let's see what happens. Just throw it. I say that now after the fact, right? But if he starts slinging it, throws 5 interceptions, I'm hacked off at him. But I like to just see us try something. If we could have had some of those receivers in, I totally think it would be a completely different game. But then again, without a solid offensive line giving you time, and Texas is really good up front. I'm not going to take anything away from them. They're good up front in the trenches and all that. It was disappointing. And then the fact that we just couldn't do anything the rest of the game. We would get to a little point, and then that was it. We shoot ourselves in the foot and go backwards. I felt like too many times, and they're too good of a football team for that to happen against.
We're kind of going
I mean,
into the next topic, but well, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to piggyback on what he was saying about Latrell. Like, I was not a big fan of him starting off the season. Like, I didn't like our play calls at all. But like I've said the last couple weeks, it's gotten to the point, like, what else is he really supposed to do with the talent that we have playing? Like, I don't know if many other people could really do a whole lot here. So
yeah,
I didn't like the way the first three games were. But at this point, who knows what it would look like.
But on that note, we were running the ball down their throats in the first quarter, and then we just stopped. Like, Texas might have made a few adjustments to stop it here and there, but we were rolling, and we haven't seen that all freaking year. But so that's my thing on questionable decisions on him. But again, going into the next thing of like Michael Hawkins and Arnold, here's my opinion. You got two completely different quarterbacks. You got Michael Hawkins, who's scared to death to throw the ball and terrified to make a mistake. So he will throw the ball out of bounds on a 4th down. He will not push the ball downfield. He will not do it. He's athletic, but like Dad just mentioned, he makes that first read, and if it's not there, he's like, well, I don't have time. I got to run. Whereas Arnold, he'll push the ball downfield. We've seen at the beginning of the year, mistakes do happen from it. He's got some athleticism to where he was able to get out of the pocket every once in a while, but he's also able to every once in a while get to that second and even sometimes third read. And so I think it's a fine line of trying to figure out who the heck you're supposed to start, because Hawkins has shown some things you can be excited for, but at the same time, is his whole career going to be him snapping the ball and immediately rolling right, completely eliminating half the field and letting the entire pass rush right to him? Because that's not going to work. That does not work in college football, in the SEC especially. That was the dumbest play scheme I've ever seen in a game of that magnitude. Or you can go with Arnold, who, again, has had some mistakes and struggles this year, but in my opinion, still has a lot of potential and has a much better arm. And I think he's a better reader of defenses. But I think Hawkins was probably sitting behind Arnold for so long, seeing as much crap as he was getting for the turnovers and everything. And so he's like, I'm not doing that. I'm going to just run out. Nobody's there. Just toss it out of bounds. It's like, I mean, you got to try. We're down. Even some of those, when it's like 24-3, it's like we still have a shot if you just get a couple of touchdowns. Like, give our defense some, because when our defense is fired up, you're not getting anywhere. You're not. I don't care. You're just not. But
they got us back in the game against Auburn. That deep throw, we were down. So I mean, you got to do something. You got to try something.
Pretty much won that. Yeah, exactly. So, in my opinion, I would have put Arnold in the second half and just seen what would have happened. I would have 100% put him in. I don't think there's anything to lose, because I don't think Hawkins is a guy that can necessarily – I don't think he's an SEC quarterback that's going to take us to the next level that we really need. And I still have the faith that Arnold can be. But I think a lot of things for both of them still need to go right in order for that to happen.
Gotcha. Kellen, what about yourself?
I mean, I definitely would have put Arnold in the second half. It's nothing against Hawkins, but it's like when you see that you're not moving the ball, just make a change and see what happens. Like, I don't know how we put up 3 points in the first quarter, don't do anything in the second quarter. Well, and those 3 points we put up, we weren't moving the ball. We got great field position. We put up 3 points in the first quarter. We don't move the ball in the second, and then do not move the ball in the second half, and you don't ever just think to make a change. It's just because he didn't throw some picks and fumbles like Arnold doesn't mean that he's not making mistakes. Like Gary said, throwing out of bounds on the 4th down, making the first read. If he's not there, you take off. Like, I understand, and I have no problem with Hawkins, but like, just make a change. Just see what happens. Would we have won? Probably not. But just see what happens. Make a quick change. Make an adjustment. You have a 5-star quarterback for a reason. Like, I don't know. It's just like, just because he wasn't making flashy mistakes, it's like we just decided to stick with him, and I just think that shot ourselves in the foot. Just see what could have happened. Going forward, I don't know what I'd do at this point, because it's just like I don't think either guy is going to have a real fair shot to succeed. I'd love to see Arnold come in again just to see what would happen, but I don't know. I would have, like Gary said, though, the game really couldn't have gotten much worse. Yes, they could have scored more points on us, but hey, let's have a guy that's not afraid to make a mistake and take a shot downfield. And if he throws a pick, we lost the game either way. Let's just see what happens.
Well, this is going like Caleb Williams. You look back, it's like some of those throws he hit in the Red River. It's like he had no business throwing, no business, but. He let the receiver make a play, which I mean, I know we didn't have necessarily like a Marvin Mims in the game, but at the same time, you have to have a shot, and I think that shows us a lot of how little faith they have in Arnold and how much disbelief they have in him. Because I mean, I think too, you could take like Arnold has a lot more experience in big time games and that from, and I'm not saying high school games are nearly what this game was, but compared to Hawkins, he played in a lot bigger games than he did.
High level. Yeah. Here's my thoughts. I'd like to see Arnold too, but do you think at all that he's going to redshirt and this year? Because you have to play 4 games and he's played 3.5. Is it possible that redshirting is in there, and that's why they haven't put him in? My concern is, and again, let's talk about that here in a second, but also I'm concerned, is he gone? Is he just like, I'm out of here? And what are your thoughts on that? I think they're going to redshirt him. I think that's what it is.
I think that I have a fear that they've had like a behind the door conversation that he's going to redshirt and transfer. But the conversation is like, we see in the country right now, all these guys entering mid-season. I think maybe some sort of conversation, like if you stay for the full year, at least you don't have to play, but you'll get some more of your NIL or whatever. But I definitely think there's probably some conversation about that.
If there was an injury, would Thompson come in instead at this point? That would kind of tell you right there.
Exactly.
Right there for sure. But that's kind of what I was thinking is that.
They said on Saturday, like Arnold's still, like
involved,
prepping as if he's the number one guy. Prepping as if he's the number one guy and super involved. And it, like they said, and I agree, it's like that's exactly what you want to hear. But why? Why didn't he play?
It could just be, what do the other teams want to hear?
And that's true. I hope we haven't lost him
and show that he can still be that guy.
I hope we haven't lost him, because I truly think that, honestly, I would have put him in there and see what he can do. He can throw the ball, he can sling the ball. He's not scared to do it. Granted, he had better receivers in that bowl game last year than what he's thrown to now, but I think he would just try to make a play at least. But I just don't know. I'm afraid. I say that. I mean, I'm afraid we've lost him. I think he's headed out the door. I don't know anything. Just a thought process that I have right now. But if that's the case, then we're going to have to, in my opinion, I think this is a long ways away, but if that is the case, we got to get somebody off the portal. Have to. What about what else about the game? I mean, it is what it is. They were the better team. I didn't think they were great by any means. I truly don't think they were. I think they I was telling your mom at one point, I truly think at one point, like not at one point, but they realized, OU's not going to be able to move the ball and score a whole lot.
So that's why they went for it fourth down in their own.
Right. I think that's why they, I don't want to say they were conservative, because then they were throwing some, weird passes late in the game and all that kind of stuff. But non-quarterback passes, things like that. But I don't know. I just feel like they could have, if they really wanted to, maybe have hammered on us. I don't know. I mean, I feel sorry for our defense, because I feel the fact that they're much better than they have been in recent years, and they can't carry us. Those poor guys cannot carry us the entire year. They're going to have to. And at this point, because I have down, like, where do we go from here? Because, at this point right now, I don't know if you guys saw, I was going to text it to you, but I think I obviously forgot. But right now, we're in the last, 6 games, we're only favored probably in 2 of them. It says South Carolina, we have a 65% chance to win. Ole Miss, 17%. Maine, 99%. At Mizzou, 38%, Alabama, 28%, and at LSU, 36%. So that's just showing you right there that, and again, a lot of things happen. Alabama hadn't looked that great. I still don't think Missouri's very good either. We just gotta pull it together. We got to get some offensive. What is it? Continuity going
Flow.
of some sorts. Throw the ball downfield. Yeah, it's flow, whatever you want to call it. That's got to happen. If not, probably more of a 6-6 season. If so, we may be able to squeeze out a 7-5 beat to Missouri. Alabama hadn't really looked that great either, even though I think they got a lot better athletes probably than what we have right now. And to be honest with you, Ole Miss hadn't looked that great the last few weeks either. So, but then again, we are playing some of those games on the road too. So, what are your all thoughts on that? Anything what I just said as far as knowing that there's possibility? According to that, we only have two games we're going to probably win the rest of the way.
I mean, at this point, it's like just be bowl eligible. Yeah.
Sure.
It's looking like I would bet money we play SC in a bowl game.
Yeah, I don't even want to play him now. I want to play him when we can smoke him. Like, I don't even know if we could beat those guys. I really don't.
I think we could beat them, but
I mean, if we get it,
I think it would be a really good matchup
by the end of the year.
Farouk will be back by
Here's one
then,
thing.
and, yeah.
Here's one thing I kind of tell you. I think I'm kind of rooting for. Like, and this goes into the NFL. Like, if Dallas continues to lose and they let go Mike McCarthy, Dallas needs to hire Steve Sarkisian, head coach. Get him out of Texas.
I mean,
they start crumbling down.
He's going to lose Quinn.
Yeah. Well, he's got Arch Manning coming in. But, I mean,
yeah.
Let's start that thought. It's like, because that's the thing is that he's pretty decent coach, right? So what happens if Steve Sarkisian goes to the Dallas Cowboys? Let's get after him. His, Jerry Jones's grandson plays a receiver position way down the list for the Texas Longhorns. So never know. All right, so here a few things that I have is obviously the issues that we have. Obviously, the offensive problems. I talked about play calling a second ago. I said defense can't carry us. Obviously, we need the receivers back. Who can even come back? I mean, Burks and then maybe Farouk. Is that the only one, right? Because Nick Anderson, is he for sure ruled out for the year?
Basically, I mean, and then maybe Andrell, but yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Even if we got the two back, Farouk and Burks, I think that opens it up a little bit. I truly do. And then what are your thoughts? Okay, Brent Venables. I mean, I know is he on the hot seat yet? Because, it all starts at the top, and I do think he's a good recruiter. I think he's got a good defense going. Is any of that because people are like, hey, you had 2 weeks to prepare for this, and this is what we put on the field, and I get it. But at the same time, don't you think like if they thought we could throw the ball deep downfield, they would have? Honestly.
I don't think he's on it yet for the sole fact that like you can't prepare for injuries. I think who should be on the hot seat is it Schmitty, who's in charge of like keeping these guys healthy, essentially. Yeah. Get rid of him. I know he was a big deal hire. Get rid of him because he sucks. But I don't think you can pin it on Venables in the sense of being such a bad year, and because there's just nothing you can do with injuries. I don't care if you're the NFL. I don't care for what sport it is in general. Like if you have the injuries like we have, you can't.
Yeah,
you have to. Yeah.
And to your point, let me just say, like I like Schmitty, right? I say that. What do I know? But I wonder sometimes if he works these guys too hard or anything. I don't want to say you work him too hard or doesn't know. I don't know. If you look at it, and I used to remember a lot of this, but and I'm not blaming it on him in any means. But is there a correlation? Like a lot of the guys when they get to the NFL, though, you guys they get hurt easy. A lot of them do get hurt and then they're out. That's constantly OU players hurt. Sam Bradford, Hollywood Brown. Who's the kid that was the receiver play for the Lions from here?
Broyles.
Ryan Broyles. I mean, there's a lot of some of the offensive linemen always constantly hurt. I don't know if there's anything in that with the training piece. I don't know, but I can just tell you, it's very interesting because I've always thought that, but until you just said that, I never really have ever brought it up on any conversation, because I don't know if I may be way off base. I have no idea. It's possible. But yeah, I don't know. Kellen, do you think Venables deserves to be on the hot seat at this point?
I don't know. I mean, he said give him 3 years and he'll give us a national championship team. And this is his 3rd year. I don't know if he factored in that was the first year to play in the SEC.
Did he know that when he took this job? Yeah, he knew.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why we had to hire a new coach.
But at the time, there were still I think conversations that we would be joining like next year, because we ended up buying out that contract.
I'm looking at our offense. I don't know how we do in the Big 12 right now. Like, I think our defense would be running the show over there, but like our offense is just
we'd be better shape. I guarantee you that.
Think
maybe we wouldn't have got every player knocked out against Tennessee, but
think about it though. Like, he got the defense to a championship caliber team. Offensively, depth chart wise, that offense should be in contention to at least compete for one. And especially if you add in a few of the transfers that we lost, that you don't expect to lose, that for sure elevates the offense even more. And so I think, again, without the injuries and making a half decent offensive coordinator hire, like we're 100% there. But he missed an offensive coordinator and the injuries.
And I think the main thing, like if we had more depth in the O-line offensively, like we have the depth in receiver, they just are literally all hurt. If we had the depth in the O-line, one, to get the running game going, but I think Jackson Arnold would still be in the game right now. Like, it'd be a completely different situation.
Sure.
So
we used to have first rounders sitting on the bench. I don't want
Venables to be on the hot seat yet, because I love what he's done with the defense, and I love but he's got to get a rough situation to be in right now.
I like Seth Luttrell. I love Seth Luttrell, but I can love you, and you don't have to coach the Sooners. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. So what I mean by love is what he's done for us in the past and all that. What I'm saying is what we've got to do is get a guy out there like Zach Edey. What is it? How do you say his last name? Zach. Who's our defense coordinator? Not Zach. What's his name?
Allie.
I said Allie. Yeah, I say the wrong name all the time. We got to get somebody like that that's an up and comer, somebody that's and I'm not saying
creative.
Anyway, regardless.
Like,
what about not somebody that's an up and comer, but a familiar face that's not too hot?
It doesn't have to be somebody that played for Oklahoma.
Somebody asked Bauer Sharp after the game. They said, What did offensive coordinator Seth Luttrell have to tell you guys after the game? He said nothing. He didn't say a word. What? Like, don't fire him immediately. Get him off the team. Like, that is just pathetic. That is soft.
Okay.
I mean, I
don't like him, and no, I don't want him here.
I like him.
He's
an OU guy, so.
I mean, so was Josh Heupel, and we got rid of him.
No, and I'm not saying. I'm not saying keep him because of that. I like him, but I do think they need to maybe go in a different direction. I wouldn't even put Joe John Finley in it. I wouldn't do him either. I'd clean house with both of them and get somebody else in there. I think they need to hire Cale Gundy back. It's not going to happen. No, I'm not saying as an offensive coordinator, but get him back in the fold in there as well. But let's talk about the upcoming South Carolina game. I know it's an 11:45 a.m. kickoff here in Norman this upcoming Saturday. South Carolina came very close to upsetting Alabama this past weekend. They're not a pushover, not as bad as I think maybe a lot of people thought maybe at the beginning of the year. What do you want to see, and then how do you think the outcome is going to be?
I want to see offensive points.
I want to see
that don't come off a turnover. I want turnovers, but I want to see offensive points that come off. I want to see a good
70-yard drive,
80-yard drive. Exactly. I want to also see points off turnovers, but I want to see improvement on the offense that doesn't rely on the defense.
Okay. Garrett?
I want to see Jackson Arnold, but I also want to see long drives as well. Like I think kind of again points as well, but like no more even just one first down and then you're done. Like I want to see long drives, at least get into field goal position and try and make something happen. And defensively, like shut down the run game because that's their biggest strength is the running game. And I think we definitely can do that. And we've done a really good job of it this year so far. But yeah, you've got to shut down the run game. And I think you've got to play Jackson Arnold.
I'd agree 100%. We got to get Jackson Arnold in there. If he doesn't play and we're struggling, I'm just telling you that tells the whole thing to me that he's not coming back. He's redshirting. If for some reason Thompson comes in instead, they say, oh, well, Arnold's hurt. I don't know, whatever. But we've got to be able to – this is a game you have to win. It's at home. It's against a team that's honestly probably about the same we are, same level at this point, to be honest with you. And we've got to be able, to your point, I mean, I want to score a lot, but, dadgum, man. I have us down for a 19-16 win. That's it, 19-16. I think we're going to kick field goals. I'm praying we don't miss any of them. We can't miss field goals either. That's what I have, 19-16 Oklahoma against South Carolina.
I've got OU 10 South. Say that again.
I said 23-17.
Wow. What do you got, Gary?
I have OU 10, South Carolina 14.
So we're going to lose.
I think they match up with us very, very well. Their defensive line, from what I've seen, is probably the best in the country, in all honesty. Like, they are disgusting.
Really?
I think they have athletes, too. So even if you start Michael Hawkins, he's not going to even be able to get out of the pocket. So I think I would project probably 5, 6, 7 sacks on us, which gives us no time to throw the ball. And then offensively, or their offense, they're not good, but they're better than ours, and they've been able to put more points than we have. So I think they'll be able to get a couple scores on us, and I think that's why we lose. I think we just continue the path. I don't think we're able, this defense is better than Texas's defense, in my opinion. I just think they have played harder games than Texas.
Okay. All right. You going to the game?
And Texas's offense is better than South Carolina, so they keep that defense off the field more. But
sure. Are you going?
Yeah.
To this game? Okay. I didn't know. I had no idea. I figured. I'm hoping, but yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be. Is what it is. I mean, it's frustrating. It's frustrating right now for an OU fan base. But here's the thing: we get to play Texas again next year. We've got a ways, obviously we got a long ways to go. We've got 360 days till we play them again, but we can also just try to do what we can to rebuild and get better. I think we've got to get obviously healthy, right? But I think we got to get bigger up front on both the offensive line and the defensive line. I think we got to get more massive. We got to spend some money on the NIL. We've got to go after some offensive linemen as well. Whatever we got to do. We've just got to get better, and I think we will. I think he's a fantastic recruiter. We just got to get stronger in the trenches, in my opinion, to give us any kind of shot at winning.
If we still had Dylan Gabriel, but we still had all these injuries, you think anything would be different?
I think we may have a. No.
I think we would have beaten
just
Tennessee.
Maybe a couple more points.
I don't know.
You think
I think we would have beaten Tennessee. I think we would have still lost to Texas,
but yeah, Texas would have still smoked us. Maybe not smoked. Well, they would have beat us, but I just don't know if he would have been able to. The poor guy would have had. He can throw it better, and he's gonna make decisions a lot quicker.
I mean, like I said, I don't know if Baker Mayfield could have done much with the offense we have right now, but.
Well, he's got to be able to block, and then he's got to be able to somebody that's getting some kind of separation. They'd be having to get those balls in a very tight window. But could it be? I don't know. I mean, he's undefeated right now, so good for him. Good for him.
Who?
I'm talking about Gabriel.
Oh.
They beat Ohio State. What are you talking about? All right.
I thought you were talking about
the fun question. No. Some fun questions for you. If you're ready. I've got 5 same thing. I'm going to ask you a question. You're ranking 1 through 5. You're not going to know what's coming next. This is fried foods. Favorite, like which of these? Where do you rank these things? 1 being the top, and so on. So let's just say, in no particular order, I've got corn dogs. Where do you rank corn dogs on fried food? 1 through 5.
5.
Homemade or that boxed frozen ones that I have every day?
I'd say like a state fair, like at the actual fair or somewhere, like a really. Yeah.
I would tell you the last
I'll go
time I got a
2.
corn dog at a fair.
Okay. What about egg rolls?
5.
There's 4.
What about, and this is kind of tied together, French fries or onion rings, somewhere right around there?
2.
Those are not the same thing.
Okay. Onion rings, whatever.
Fried side.
All right. 4.
A burger side.
Good old fried chicken.
1.
1.
Like some really good fried chicken. Okay. What number do y'all have left?
3.
3.
So number 3, you both have fried Oreos.
That's probably fair. Only
Some
thing
good
I'd
fried
rather switch
Oreos.
is corn dog and egg roll.
Really? Cool.
Next time you
Well-
guys are in the area, Publix has the greatest fried chicken I've ever had.
Really?
It's insane.
Well,
Get a family pack for $8.
I may come there tomorrow. I may just drive on down there and give me some fried chicken.
Hey, you should. I'm telling you, it's life changing.
But, Fox Den would like to thank everyone for taking time out of their day to listen to our podcast. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen here shortly on some other avenues you can listen to us to or follow us on. We appreciate everything you do for us. Every time you all listen, it helps us in the end. And we want, again, more subscribers. The more, the merrier. And I would like to remind everybody that iron sharpens iron. Please stay safe, be savage and not average. Remember to join the skulk. And what's the last one, Kellen? Do you remember?
Stay thirsty, my friends.
Yes. Stay thirsty, my friends. In Texas, you still suck. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Fox Den Sports Podcast. Be sure to subscribe for free to our YouTube channel, Fox Den Sports. And also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Fox Den Sports and on Facebook at Fox Den Sports Podcast. You can also email us at foxdensports@yahoo.com. This has been Fox Den Sports.